Hello and welcome back to another podcast episode of Stoke Fan TV with myself, Max.
And me, Sam.
And we've got a bumper panel for you today, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to be discussing the biggest thing that's going on at Stoke City. Can you guess what it is? It's the lack of strike force that we currently have because our current strikers are all either injured, AWOL, various things, and it's not good, is it? So we're going to be discussing that in today's show. We might even get Al from Canada at some point joining the panel. If he just pops up from Canada in the corner at some point, we'll see. Anyway, before we get into it, if you could hit the like and subscribe button, that would be appreciated. Now, this video is coming out before tonight's game. Okay, should get that out of the way. So we don't know what the result's going to be tonight, and we don't know who's going to be up front. But just to give you a recap of where we are currently with Stoke City, just in case you've been under a rock or something, we've obviously lost Mabama in the last game, broken foot. We think is that been confirmed? The club is being so kind of coy with injuries and stuff. Then we've obviously got Bosnick who injured his shoulder. We've got Tezgal and Lowe who've been out on loan, but both of them are injured. Galley, I don't really know. People are saying he's injured. People are saying he's on his way out. So that kind of leaves us really, really without a recognised striker, doesn't it? If all of those players that I've just mentioned are on the way out. So today, what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about potential replacements because we are inside the January transfer window still. We are yet to really sign anybody apart from a keeper. So we're going to see if we can come up with some suggestions. Now, the first one we're going to look at is the most concrete, I'd say. And what I'm going to do is I'll name him, and then we can go around and see what everybody's heard and see if everyone's interested in this idea that we're going to sign him. And the first one is called Milan Smit. Okay, Milan Smit. He's currently playing in the Dutch league, the Dutch Premier League, and he's playing for a team called Go Ahead Eagles. Well, at least it's not Go Behind Eagles, isn't it? Right. So, Sam, we'll start with you with this guy. Have you done some research into it at all, Sam?
I've seen that he scored a few goals for him this season. To be honest, I've never heard of his team before. When I first heard it, I thought it could be like a new MLS team or something with that name. But no, to be fair, Max, I don't know much about him, to be honest with you. I saw that he scored a few goals in Europe.
He scored 3 goals in Europe and he scored 6 goals in his domestic league. He's the kind of joint top scorer in the team with all those goals combined, and he's also had a couple of assists. So you're not sure, Sam, because you don't know a huge amount, but you've seen a couple of goals. I can bring in Big D down in the corner. Big D. Um, Come on, man. What are your thoughts? I reckon you've probably watched a bit, haven't you? His highlights and stuff.
He's a bit of an unknown to me as well, really.
Okay.
It's the Dutch league, isn't it? It's not a league that you really look at day to day. Um, I had a little bit of research on him before we came on here. He's 22 and he's 6'3". He's a two-footed striker, I believe. Scored against Ajax at the weekend just gone, or last game he played in the league, he scored against Ajax. Um, like I say, don't really know much about him. 5.5 million euros, is it? It's about 4.7 million. It's quite a lot for Stoke. Um, Makes you question, you know, Torrance. Where's he pulled this one out of? Torrance and Walters. If they're going to spend nearly 5 million quid on a striker, he must be bloody decent. And hopefully he'll come in and do a job and not get injured.
Well, Tom, I'll bring you in next. Don't worry, I'll get round to you. But Tom, what's your thought? Have you done any research on him, or this 5.5 potential? What do we think? Is that a bit too much for an unknown?
I mean, when we spent 10 million and Crouch on Sam Vokes, no. So
Yeah, yeah.
I, I've seen his YouTube compilation, which is the first thing you do when you don't really know a striker. The only thing I've got as like a saving grace is the last time Robin signed a Maverick striker out of the middle of nowhere, he left for Sporting Lisbon and now plays up front for Arsenal. So I'm not saying that Smith's going to be a new Gyökeres. I'm not going to say that. But Robbins has got an eye for this sort of thing. And you'd hope that Robbins has seen what he wants him to do anyway, being an ex-striker himself. So if Robbins has faith in him, I've got faith in him. From the compilations and from what I've seen of him, he looks half decent. Looks like he'd fit in quite well. So yeah, I'm pretty confident with him. But whether we can back that up on the pitch, whether we can back it up on the pitch is a different matter.
It's a much of a. It all sounds like we're in a kind of similar boat. No one knows a lot about him. Come on, Brett. You're going to tell us now that you've been tracking him for the last 2 seasons, aren't you? And you've been watching every game in the Dutch league, and you know it like the back of your hand, right?
Yeah, I got back from the Netherlands last week, mate. Yeah, I think my opinion's probably the same. To be honest, don't know an awful lot about him. It's obviously a data-driven prospect that they've seen, whether that's through torrents, whether that's through some other sort of network that they've been working on. But I think for me, 5 million quid or in that region, one of the guys said it's quite a big price tag, I'd say, because I think we're in the last year of our PSR cycle as well. So clearly we've got to be, quite careful. Does it mean that, someone else has got to go out? There's always that sort of gamble as well. I think for a January signing, usually it would be that would be unusual to spend that sort of money on an unknown. But granted, we've got 0 strikers available. So
not at the minute. Desperate times, it feels like.
Yeah, I think at the moment, whoever we can get in, if we've got to spend 5 million quid, yes, it's a little bit of a gamble. But let's just hope that his latest YouTube clip moments, or they live true and we see exactly that on his debut. That'd be nice. So.
Well, joining us on the show just now, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Al. He's joined us from Canada. Hey, Al, we weren't sure if you were snowed in or you got stuck or whatnot, but welcome, mate. We're pleased you've come because we're obviously discussing Stoke's crisis, which is a lack of central midfielders. I mean strikers. We've got nobody, have we, at the minute? And the first one we're discussing now. Can you shed a bit more light on Smith? Is that how you say? Is that how you pronounce it? Smith.
Well, I think that's what we'll go with.
Yeah.
We'll just tell them how it's going to be pronounced.
Well, we've heard around about 5.5 mil or something like that, and he's playing in that Dutch league. Have you seen any of his goals and stuff? Are you impressed by what you've seen of him so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously us being 7 hours ahead of you guys in the UK. I saw this news feed come out last night when I was sitting on the couch. I thought, oh crap, this is, is there any truth to this? So I started exploring it a little deeper, and I so far from what I've seen, of course, a highlight reel is a highlight reel, right? It's only going to show the good plays. It's not going to show him, flubbing the ball or over the crossbar. But what I'm impressed with is the more I looked at him, he's a 2-footed striker. So he's scored 6 goals this year in the Pro League there. 3 with his right foot, 2 with his left foot, and 1 header. So, I mean, he brings a good mix to the table. He's 6'3". He's the diameter of a pencil, but I mean, a few oatcakes that can bring him up to par. So,
yeah,
so no, reality is I think, in watching him, he has very good ball control. His defending is abysmal. That's right. One if I do have a downside with him, but honestly, he's a target man with his height. He likes to get up. He likes to mix it up with the defenders. He seems like a decent hold-up guy. And the nice thing about a 2-footed striker that likes to play, likes to hold the ball up, is he doesn't have to pivot a certain way to get the ball on a favored foot. So he can go either way, depending on which way looks to be more positive towards scoring. So I guess, we'll see. Beggars can't be choosers. That's the thing, right? We don't have any option in for strikers. So, I heard what Brett was saying too. He mentioned Torrance. And so far, I think Torrance's track record has been probably one of the best we've had in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at our previous recruitment, whether you're looking back at Cartwright or Jared Dublin, those kind of guys, there was a lot of garbage that came with a few good players, right? I mean, I'm not knocking them saying they didn't bring in any quality, but the ratio was probably 60% garbage and 40% keepers. With Torrance coming in, I say that, it's probably more of a 30-70. He's bringing 30% garbage. We've seen a couple players that just aren't going to make it. But for the most part, he's brought in some good players. So I'm looking forward to seeing this guy. I mean, we'll get behind him. We're Stokies. We'll 100% be behind the lad, and it's up to him to see how he does.
I mean, we don't know if he's 100% coming or anything like that. It's just yet, I don't think. Tonight's game, we'll see who plays up front. Maybe Bosun will go up top and score a hat trick, and we'll be going, well, we don't sign anyone now because Bosun up front, he's banging them in for fun. Or maybe Galley will make a comeback, and we'll say, what was that all about? I don't know, but it is positive. The positive thing about this lad coming in is you look at his stats for the current domestic league, and 26 shots on goals. That's 4 more than our top shooter in the domestic league, which is Sorba Thomas. So, and then he's got better percentage of shots on target than any of our team. Any of our attacking kind of options, I should say. So that's a positive. He's kind of, I reckon there's a good chance he might come in. Another name that's been floated around, and we'll do the rounds, is can we offer a lifeline to Hardy? Ryan Hardy, he's one that's come up. Sam, what would you have? Would you have Hardy, and would you look at him? He's at Wrexham currently. He's hardly played, really.
No, I wouldn't bring in Hardy. I don't think he's good enough for the Stoke team. Wouldn't really be much of an improvement of what we've already got, really.
You think it might be an improvement on nobody, but yeah, you don't rate him. He was good at Plymouth.
No, wouldn't have him in the team. I don't know.
No, that's a solid no from Sam. Straight down to Big D in the corner.
Like Sam said, he was brilliant at Plymouth. He went to Hollywood FC, didn't he? And then he brought in 6 other strikers. He sat on the bench warming that for most of the season. If we could bring him in on loan, for a free, bring him in on loan till the end of the season, I can't see that being bad business. It gives him an opportunity to show what he can do, and it just gives us another option, really, doesn't it? Because, like I say, we've got no one. We're going to end up with, I don't even know. We're going to end up with kids at the academy, the under 10s at this rate playing up front. And, but anybody, if like I say, if he's available, I can't see him being on much money at Wrexham either. So I think the wages, if we covered the wages,
that's a good point.
Good option potentially, but we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
It's potential. We'll carry on the pattern from last time. Tom, have you what are your thoughts? Right, there are sources saying Ryan Hardy, offer him a lifeline. I mean, the fact we offer him a lifeline, I mean, it's like, but then what do you think? Isn't this kind of like similar to Al Hamidi when he came in? He was on the fringes, wasn't he? No,
I don't know why we'd take a striker from a club in the same division that's not good enough to start for that club.
Okay,
and that is my only opinion on it. I wouldn't touch him. I wouldn't even take him on loan because it's just a waste of a loan slot. If we take him on loan, we can only have what? Well, we've got Basunu, we've got Mubama if he stays. Donny's gone back. It's all of a sudden these loan slots are filling up. So Nah, it's a big avoid from me. That is.
Oh, well, we got two no's and a yes. Come on, Brett. Where are you on this? Don't just sit on the fence with it. Give us what you think, really.
Yeah, got to commit on it.
Got to commit me.
Yeah, I think okay. I look at obviously Tom's point is a good one. Is he, a good enough quality for what we need? It's hard to say. I mean, if you look at who's in front of him, you've got Kiefer Moore that they've spent decent money on. Nathan Broadhead, I think they spent nearly 8 million quid on him. So they've got Sam Smith, and like Dale said, there's so many more strikers in front of him. So I don't know. Should he be better than those guys? Probably not. Arguably, I don't think that necessarily makes him a bad option. I had a look the other night at his goal scoring stats for Plymouth when they were obviously in the Championship, and to be honest, I think they're quite good. 17 goals one season, some assists, some really good. From what I remember, his link-up play was brilliant. And he's the sort of guy that'll go in and behind. People like Borough tonight who play a nice high line, absolutely ideal. Whether he's still got the legs to do that sort of role is another question. But like I said earlier about my opinion on the other, I've forgotten his name already. You'll have to forgive me if we sign him.
Schmidt.
Schmidt. Like with him, it's okay. It's a gamble, but what other choice do we have? We're in January where we've potentially got 0 striking options. Even if it's just someone that we can bring on to just cause a little bit of trouble, be a nuisance to defenders, to free up space for Sorba, Manu, Cisse, Juno sitting in the 10, and let those guys sort of operate with a little bit more freedom, then I'm all for it, to be honest with you.
Well, just to give you a bit of our watchers and our listeners, just a bit what you were saying then about the amount of goals he scored. So obviously this season he's hardly really played. He's only had 8 shots in the league. He's hardly had any minutes really. But the season before, so 24 to 25, Plymouth in the Championship, 10 goals. This is only domestic. It's only within the league. Season before, 23-24, goals within the Championship, 12. Then you go back down to League One, you've got 13 goals and 16 goals in the season before that. So last 4 seasons prior to this, he's hit double figures, which is a striker from a Stoke point of view is immense, isn't it? I mean, when we've hardly had anybody strikers that's got even double figures, isn't it? Really, Al down in the corner. We're currently two votes apiece for Hardy. So if he's watching, he's not sure what he's doing. What did you reckon, Al, to Hardy?
Yeah, I think he brings a good footballing mind to the club.
Mm.
But I'm going to be honest. I think realistically, I wouldn't take him. I would not. Now, reason being, I mean, we're struggling with injuries as is. Obviously, I mean that's just been we got smoked by the injury bus, right? The injury bus just came into Stoke and drove over everyone. So, when I look at Hardy, I mean he's currently out nursing a knee injury, so he is currently injured. I think he might be back on the grass now or soon. He's gone through a lot of muscle strains, and he's kind of an injury-prone player. So
that'd be perfect at Stoke, man.
Yeah, exactly. He'd fit right in. So let's grab him. No, I just so no. I think I just honestly don't think that Hardy. I can't see him being a player that adds value to the club over the long term. And I think really we're trying to get through a bit of a tough patch right here. And, what looks to be a signing, a 3.5-year contract for Smith, that to me speaks volumes about where the club wants to go, right? I mean, we're looking at these, unknown to us players that they're bringing in on a 3.5-year contract versus do we give Hardy a lifeline till the end of the season, but if he's out injured, I mean, I just, like I say, it's just good. To me, Hardy just complicates things. And I think there's better options that we can look at than Ryan Hardy. Just yeah.
That's all right, man. I mean, it is a tough one, isn't it? Do we go with kind of more kind of gambling kind of options because we're at the minute we're in a desperate situation, or do we really try and go in full wholeheartedly and go for proven scorers within this league? But then how tough is that? Next one I'm just going to mention, and I'm sure we'll fly around this one. We'll probably be, yeah, sure, no worries. Is Piroe from Leeds. His name has been floated, but it's not just been floated with ours. Obviously, he's a top scorer from Championship last season. Can't really get in that Leeds team at the minute. Can't get much of a sniff. They've obviously brought in Calvert-Lewin in place of him, and he kind of comes on towards the end of latter matches. That's somebody that would obviously come into Stoke and I think bolster team immediately. But would he be even interested in coming down the league again when he's getting? If something happens to Calvert-Lewin, I'm sure he'd be in the team straight away. Sam, what do you think? We'll do the same order. We've got an order established now.
100%, 100% agree. He'd be fit in the team, wouldn't he? Quality striker. But I've seen that he's said publicly that he's not interested. But that's a bit of a shame, really, because I think he'd walk straight into the team.
Okay, so you'd have Big D down in the corner.
Yeah.
Can you see it happening?
No, because like I said, no. Yeah, he could walk into any team in the Championship. He has quality. He'd walk into Stoke. He'd probably score goals, but he's turned around and said that he doesn't want to drop into the Championship. So I can't see him going anywhere. He might as well sit on the bench at Leeds and earn his £30,000 a week or wherever he's on, than go to the lower league. I don't know.
It feels that way, doesn't it? Tom, you the same?
Yeah, I'd have him in a heartbeat, but realistically, it's never going to happen. I mean, depends how much money we want to throw at it. I mean, there's an argument that we could sell Vic this transfer window. We could sell Vic. He's got a shoulder injury. We don't know how he's going to come back. Shoulder injury for a keeper, it's never a good sign. Cash in on him. Bazunu obviously been bought in as a fit replacement for when he goes in the summer. Do we cash in now and throw as much money as we've got at it?
It's just whether Piroe would want to. Brett, again.
Of course he wouldn't. Why would he want to come to Stoke? Why would he? Let's be honest.
Well, I don't know. You say that, but it's to play, isn't it? It's to play. I mean, like if he's not playing at all and he's just sitting on the bench. Brett, what do you think, man?
Yeah, no, I agree with what the boys have said there, to be honest. I'd love to see him at Stoke. I'd make him oatcakes every morning, if that'd get the deal over the line. So, yeah.
I'm sure it would. I'm sure it would, mate. Yeah, we'll get the oatcakes from Brett and it'll do the thing. Al, I'm sure you're going to say the same as everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everyone saying that, yeah, 100%. I'd love to have Piroe leading the front line. But if he doesn't want to come here, he doesn't want to come here. That's just the crux of it, right? I don't think you want to chase players that have publicly said something like that. You just let that die on the vine, and like Brett and Dale, everybody said, and Sam, that would he come to Stoke and bang in goals? Likely he would.
Absolutely.
Likely he would. But again, can we afford him? I mean, I just heard the tail end when I joined late there. I just heard Brett mention, PSR, that we're kind of on the back end of it. I mean, considering, how many managers we've gone through. I mean, I think it's the end of 2027. We're actually going to be done clearing off the manager payouts and those kind of things are PSR. So that's the other thing with Piroe. I mean, he's not going to come to us cheap, right? That's the thing. So he doesn't want to come here. He's not going to be, in my opinion, probably affordable. Would we sell Vic to finance getting a player like Piroe in? I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't think he's the key. I think there's probably players out there that would be more keen to come to Stoke for a better value that I think we could get a better tune out of, but we won't see those players till the summer. which, brings us back to what do we do for now? But
Well,
yeah,
that's it.
Piroe is a no for me.
Well, they're the kind of ones that have kind of been touted. I mean, there's been a few loose rumors. There was something about Hernandez or something. No, absolutely not. Let's not even discuss that. And then there was another one. I can't remember. Who was it? Who was the other one we said earlier? From
Wednesday striker, wasn't it? I can't remember his name now.
Oh, Kanematari.
Well, has anybody got any suggestions? We've mentioned a few there. Has anyone got any other suggestions or heard other things that we haven't? Let's go. We've only got about 5 minutes or so. Go ahead with your suggestions, gentlemen.
Dan Ballard, please.
Who?
Dan Ballard, please. Throw all the money at him. Leighton Orient, top scorer in League One.
Someone else mentioned that. Was it? Who else has mentioned that? Sam, you mentioned that, didn't you?
I mentioned it the other day on the WhatsApp group, Max.
All right. Okay.
Good lad, Sam.
Promise David.
Oh, you've mentioned
This is what I wanted.
Yeah. No, it was who was it who mentioned him? Sam can mention him.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd actually mentioned it to Sam one day.
Oh, it was you who sowed the seed to Sam Cam, was it? Right.
Promise David is an absolute machine. I watch the guy play, fairly regularly when our national team's playing, and he is a massive guy. He's literally like having a tractor on the pitch. He's just a big boy. He blows everybody over, but he's so lethal in front of the net. I mean, he doesn't
What's his
really
worth? What's his worth, Al? How much is he worth?
I think him about 8 million, somewhere in that area. I mean, he's not really that proven at a high level outside of Canada, right? I mean, so he's playing over in, is he in Belgium right now? Or I think he's in Belgium, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to look him up, but to me, he'd be worth a punt, because I look at some of I'm just kidding. Norwich beat the crap out of West Brom yesterday. They absolutely embarrassed them. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that game was at West Brom. So I look at the new Canadian kid that Norwich just signed for left wing, and he got his first game under his belt yesterday, Ali Ahmed, in his first game in the EFL, right? He'd never played in the EFL before. So I look at some of these players, and that's where Promise David comes in for me. I mean, he's not a starting striker for the Canadian national team.
No.
He comes on as a sub, but it's pretty hard to compete with a guy like Jonathan David, who's, Canada's starting striker, and he's playing for, I think, is he PSG now, or no, Juventus. He's playing for Juventus. He's the starting striker for Juventus. So I Promise David is the backup to Jonathan David, who incidentally they're no relation. But I would give him a shot at playing in the EFL. If you can get him for the right price, I'd bring him in.
He's playing in the Pro League at the minute, Belgian Pro League. He's been mentioned. So the two there, that's interesting too. I'll get the thoughts of Big D and Brett on those two that have just been mentioned there. Obviously, Tom's mentioned it, backed up by Sam first. This chap from League One, is he the only top scorer in there? Do you think he could cut the mustard? Start with Big D. You think he cut the mustard in the Championship at Stoke?
100%.
Oh yeah, you're a fan, yeah.
I'm pretty certain. Did he drop down from Brentford to Leighton Orient, like Brentford's reserves or Summit Sport?
He did, yeah.
But then look at Richard Coney. He was at Wickham last season, and he's now at QPR.
There you go, Brett. What do you think, mate?
Yeah, I mean, he sounds absolutely ideal. I don't know anything about him, to be honest with you. Who exactly do I want? Anyone that's a striker. Even if they just can hold the ball up and bring others into play, and they just do that job, just see us through the rest of the season, I think that's what we go for. But
I mean, we're coming to the end of the show, and we've probably got as far as the Stoke recruitment team have got, to be quite honest with you, at this point. we've named some players. Hopefully, there's Smith might come in, and hopefully it did the job. I know I'm going after this. I'm on YouTube to check out highlights of Promise David, and also what was his name? The guy from League One, Tom. What's his name?
Don Ballard.
Dom Ballard.
Yeah.
I'm going to go. I'll have to check that out and see if these guys can come in. And what do you think, Stoke fans? This is the crisis at Stoke City. As I say, this show's coming out before the game tonight. When I don't know. As I say, maybe Luau. People talk about playing Luau up top. Why not? Luau comes and bangs in a ton, and Cisse's running off him and lightning through the middle of the pitch and scoring double hat tricks. Yada yada yada. I don't know. This is where we're at, Stoke fans. This is where we're at. So we'll wrap it up there. We've chatted you off a little bit about some potential options. Who do you think? Let us know in the comments. Big thanks to our panel who've come on and braved another Stoke Fan TV pod and all come out the other end of it. Well done. But we'll try and do the round. So it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye for me.
Well, 2-on-1.
Goodbye for me.
And it's just Brett. A goodbye from him. I've never done that one before. Right, anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll see you again on another podcast episode of Stoke Fan TV. Go on, Stoke.